they go again when they say it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Start with everybody's statement from Coach, and then open for questions.
All right, it's good to see everybody. Obviously, a really, really exciting time of year here on campus. Students coming back. You know, campus is buzzing every single day. Obviously, for our football team, it's an exciting time. You know, we're a little over a week out from our first game. It's exciting that college football is going to be on TV this weekend. I think that's something that everybody's excited about. And I'm just looking forward to seeing this team play. I think we've had a great camp. We finished up with that basically last Sunday night. And the players have been just continued to attack their process. It's been a lot of fun. We've got great leadership on this team. I think our coaching staff has done a great job pushing and demanding and driving what we're looking for in terms of red line in the practice environment. And so now we got to clean some things up in the next week and get ready to play. And that's the exciting thing, is that it's finally here. What we've been working for, waiting for the last 9 months is finally here. And so appreciate everybody being here. I'm ready to take your questions.
Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Justin and David.
When you look at the last month and how the team handled training camp and just preparing for the season, what stood out to you when you looked at that?
Well, I think they just attacked it every day, and I think that's what we were looking for. When you have, some of the older leadership on the team, whether that's Noah or Chase or Trey, you just see those guys continue to push the team, and you guys have heard me say it before, but player-led teams are special, and as much of that as we can get from this group of young men, I think that gives us a chance to play the kind of football we want to play, and that's what this has been. That's what it was in the offseason. That's what it was in the summertime. It was those guys driving the workouts, driving the PRPs, driving the throwing and the catching and the things that you have to do to kind of continue to sharpen the sword throughout the offseason. So I'm excited about training camp. I think it was a lot of fun. It was intense. It was physical, and now we're trying to polish it up for game day.
David and then Chris.
Brent, you went into this camp with probably 9 to 10 wide receivers who legitimately could play, and you've coached wide receivers for a long time. So how deep is this group? Is this as deep a group as you think you've ever had coaching? I
think so. That's a really good question, but I do think so. Like you said, I feel like there's 9 or 10 guys that can play, that are ready. I definitely think there's probably 4 guys that have kind of separated themselves at the top of that list, which that happens on every team. But we're really excited about the progress those guys are making, and it's fun. It's fun to see some guys mature and develop and start to make plays in practice and play with a level of consistency that gets us excited. But it's also fun to see some of the new players and some of the young players also make plays in the practice environment. So that thing's going to continue to be hyper competitive as we go through the season, and I have a lot of trust in that group. I have a lot of trust in Bobby Wade, the guy that's coaching them, and I expect big things from that group. I think we all should.
Chris and then Jason.
Seth mentioned a couple days ago that he took some time this offseason to study, how does he become a better play caller, a more efficient play caller. How have you seen the other coordinators, the other position coaches refine their process and really use fall camp to get better at how they teach and prepare the team?
Well, I think that's something that, in terms of guys researching that's something that happens before fall camp, right? Then you get to fall camp, and then it's the application of what they've, tried to learn and that's one of the really cool things about football and just coaching in general, is that I don't think what anybody does schematically is proprietary. You know what I mean? This isn't Google and Apple fighting over industry secrets. And so coaches are really generous with their time, with their help. I've been really fortunate over my career. So many great coaches have been, sounding boards for me. And so that part of it has been really fun. And I think it's important for every coach to, we're always trying to get better. I mean, we preach that with our players. We should be doing the same thing. We should be seeking advice. How are you doing this? How are you doing this? What do you think about this? And I'm really grateful for the people that have helped me over the course of my career. And I know Coach Dagey is too, but all of our staff does a great job of meeting with people, seeking that out. Coach Viney did the internship with the Kansas City Chiefs, which was an absolutely incredible experience for him. But I do think that's a really special thing about football coaches is that we are willing to share, and we are always trying to get better. I was on the phone yesterday with Dave Phipp, Arizona football alum, one of the best special teams coordinators in the NFL, just asking him a simple question about a situation in the kicking game. So that never stops.
Jason and then Nathaniel.
Seth mentioned, and you mentioned before, what can you tell us about Noah's note-taking process?
Oh my gosh. Well, when I first got here, everything was by paper. And so he had 4 colors, I believe. It was blue, green, yellow, and red. And everything was color-coded, and then, he upped his technological savvy, and he went to an iPad, which is obviously, if you're old school like me, you can ask my wife, she's in the back here. We have boxes and boxes of notebooks over the last 28 years that every time we move, she's like, when are we getting rid of this crap? I'm like, no, this is gold. And she's like, yeah, but you never look at it. I'm like, I know, but I like knowing it's there. But Noah is really unique that way. And I think that's special because that helps those young players just get some great insight into how you prepare, the preparation, the dedication, the consistency of that. And Noah just really leans into that. And that's one of the things I know that when we talk to NFL scouts about him, like we're always like joking with them, but we're serious. Like, you need to see the notes this guy takes. You need to see what kind of student he is of the game, how committed he is to being the absolute best player he can be by how thorough he is with his note-taking process.
Nathaniel and Brian.
Yeah, just your thoughts on Gio Richardson and Isaiah Marzella, their improvements from last year then to this year, and how they're going to help the offense overall this season.
I think we are excited about both those young men. I know Coach Daggy talked to you about Gio a little bit last week. Sounded like a funny conversation, but or the other day, but obviously two separate players, and so I think Gio's one of those players that when he was in high school, I just loved his toughness. He's a two-way player at Basha High School, hyper competitive, incredibly, really gifted, like fast and twitchy, and just a total playmaker. And I think you're just going to see him, even as you saw last year, as it got later in the season, you saw his confidence grow. You saw him start to make more plays in the offense. And I think you're just going to see that take another really big leap this year with him. And then Mizell is also a young player that played for us last year, maybe not quite as much as Gio, but his combination of speed. And the thing that I told the team the other day about Isaiah is he's just different to me right now than he was a year ago. There's a new level of focus and intention when he comes to practice. He's incredibly diligent about taking coaching and applying it right away. And so it's really fun to see both of those guys, kind of continue on their journey. We always talk about our program being a program that puts development at the absolute top of, everything that we're doing here. And I think those are two young men that you're going to see have developed a lot and are going to contribute in a big way.
Brian and then Justin.
How does the process go now transitioning from camp to the game week and all that? Like, are there meetings to indicate who's going to be scout team and who's going to be doing like first, second team rep type thing? Or has that just kind of naturally already happened?
It's naturally already happened because we're in this mock week, this week. So what we attempt to do this week is make it exactly like a game week for the players. So when you got 50 new guys on the team, they've never been through a game week with our program. So trying to just get them to see what it looks like, what it feels like. The conversations with who's going to be scout team and who's not, like those conversations have happened, with player and coach individually. And then, I think the scout team thing, even though that's hard for some players to do, it's also, like our best scout team player, my red line clip for practice today was Max Harris on scout team. He doesn't even know if he's going to get to play. You know what I mean? And he is the gold standard for effort and detail and being a great teammate from the work he did with our scout team yesterday. And I think that's one of those things is if you want to have a great team, you have to have guys that are unselfish and giving you a great look on that scout team. And I'm excited to see our guys do that.
Justin and then David.
Offense and defense, who would you say are the most improved players this training camp?
Well, we just talked about Isaiah and Gio. I think they've made a big time jump. That's been really exciting. I'm really excited about Deuce. I think he just continues to improve and get better every single day. He's become a leader for the team. He's got a really strong voice with the team, which, I would say 2 years ago, I'm not sure he would have said a word. But it's great to see him kind of step into that more assertive leadership role. The stable of backs is fun. It's like that. Like, I think we feel good about everybody in that room and their ability to contribute. Wesley Yarbrough's had a great camp. You know what I mean? Antoine's had a great camp. I think we all expect it from Ked and Q because they've played a lot of football, a lot of meaningful football for us, in the last year or last 2 years. But it's really exciting to see those other guys because you always need more than you think you do. That's just the physical nature of that position. You always need more than you think you do. Defensively, it's been fun to see I know Javion Cole was a really good player for us last year, but he was coming back from that injury, right? So he was unavailable in the spring. So it's great to see the move he's making in fall camp, both as a player and a leader. It's great to see Trey Smith running around. I know we all have high expectations for him, but he was, unavailable in the spring as well. Tay Brown continues to be just a player with an incredibly high motor, incredibly high IQ. That's really exciting. And then I think some of those new players that we've added in the back end are going to be a lot of fun. I think Malcolm Herzog is going to be a player that our fans are going to fall in love with in terms of just his football IQ, his toughness, the plays he's able to make. That's going to be a lot of fun. So those are a few guys. I mean, there's others, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see us play. You know what I mean? It's just practice is practice, games are games. And we need to find out who can do it for real when the lights are on.
David and then Chris.
Coach Michael Salgado Medina last year only made 61% of his kicks. How confident are you that he can take that next level to consistency and maybe being a guy that's in the 80% range?
I think that's absolutely possible for him. I think that's such a hard thing. I feel like kickers just get held to a different standard than everybody else. You know what I mean? It's just such a, you miss a kick and everyone's like, oh, he can't do it. Then he hits a 53-yarder to ice the game at Cincinnati, and everyone's like, "Oh, yay, he's the best ever." So, it's really, really a hard position to play. You're on the sideline for 15 minutes, and then we're like, "Hey, go win it, buddy." You know what I mean? But I've just seen him. I think he's really done a great job this offseason, and just the consistency, how he's striking the ball, just his accuracy has really, really improved. And I think, Coach Niver and Coach Nesbitt are doing a great job with him. It's really fun to see him just playing with the confidence he's playing with. And I think it's absolutely reasonable to see him make a big jump this year. And he's also going to be a year older. You know what I mean? It's like you're playing a freshman or a sophomore kicker, and everybody holds him to a fifth-year senior Tyler Loop standard. That's not fair. You know what I mean? And so, but that's what happens, right? And so I got a lot of faith in Michael. And I'm excited for him because he's worked so hard and he's hitting the ball great.
Chris and then Nathaniel.
You said sometime at the beginning of camp that the number one priority was to get a foundational understanding of red line. Do you think that you and the team accomplished that during the last 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think that's really showing up on tape, just how we're running to the football and then just the execution piece of what red line is to us. The hard part is that you don't know until you line up for real. It's just, do we really have it? But I'm excited about that. I think the coaches have done a great job. We've really worked hard at trying to show pictures of exactly what it looks like on film, and our guys are all trying to attack that and then live up to that standard.
Our last two will be Nathaniel and then Justin.
Yeah, I think it was in the beginning of fall camp when Trey Smith was talking about his nickname, Mr. Redline. And he was kind of saying how it's between him and Tay Brown. So just in your eyes, what kind of makes those guys so special and kind of earn that nickname?
I think you see it when they play and when they practice, just their level of consistency in terms of playing with just fanatical effort all the time. And everyone in football talks about effort. It doesn't matter if it's the NFL or college football, but the players that are doing it are the ones that have to make a choice to do it, right? And with both of those guys, they continue to be the standard of they chase the ball like their life depended on it. And the truth is it does. And so it's awesome to see them continue to do that every single day. And they're great leaders, and they're great guys that set the standard for what it looks like, and they do it every single day.
We'll finish up with Justin.
Are you going to watch any Week 0 games this week?
Yeah, let's go college football. It's awesome.
What do you think about Alonzo Carter and his head coach?
I'm so excited for Zoe. I texted with him today. They play on the road at Eastern Michigan, which will be a tough game. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for him. He's got a really good coaching staff. He's excited about his team, and they're getting ready to play. And I'm really excited to see them, get going. First game of his tenure there as a head coach. They're leveling up as a program, going from FCS to FBS, which is a big move. And I'm excited to see what they do.
Do you remember your first college football head coaching experience? What do you remember about that?
Oh man, we had my first year at San Jose State. We opened with South Florida, and Charlie Strong was the coach, and their quarterback was brilliant, Flowers, and I think we were up 16-9. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Flowers said, "Enough of this," and we didn't have a good answer for him. He was really, really impressive, and then we got to have some fun, and we went to Texas, which was fun, and that was an exciting experience for all of us. Funny story. So we go to Texas, and I'm on the field, and at that time, our chief of staff was my situational football guy, so Ben, who's here with us. And so it's late in the second quarter, and I think we're down like 3-0. Like it feels like football, and it's 3rd and 9 from like the -38 or something, or excuse me, 4th and 9. Okay, 4th and 6. Okay, I'll give you 4th and 6, but we're on the -38, and he's like, "Hey man, the book says to go for it." And I look at him, I'm like, "Dude, like we're in this thing. I'm not doing that right now." So we punted, and Texas scored twice before half, and we went in, I think, down 14-3 at half. But and then we had to go on the road to Utah, which was brutal. So we had a hell of a schedule. After that, I took my daughter to the Texas game. My daughter Casey, at the time, that's 10 years ago, so she was 10 or 11. And so I got back on the plane, and she was sitting already seated, and she was like, "Hey, Dad," trying to be a good daughter, and it was such a rough day for us. It did not end well, and she said, "Do you want to watch Pitch Perfect with me?" And I was like, I do. It was such a rough day, but no time to cry, because we had the next week, I think we were going to Utah, so it was a tough start, man. It was a tough start, but if you stay the course, you can get right, and we did. So I got a lot of hope and faith in Zoe.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach.
All right, bear down.
Thanks, Brent. Pitch perfect. Hell yeah.
Who were the cadets? The former players?
It was Stacy Marshall.
Oh, okay.
And Dave Watson. Yeah, they're super cool.
Rich Ron and Sumlin guy.
That's right, he was.
Oh, the O lineman.
Yeah, they were super cool.
Stacy was a tight end.
Both big dudes. They are.
He was kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, he was a JC guy. He came from the same JC that Kevin Moore.
Oh, Hutchinson?
Yeah.
from the start of training camp to now, how much do you think the offense has progressed?
I think we progressed a lot. I think we took some huge strides. Obviously, in training camp, there's some lulls, and especially against the defense we're going against. But I'm super proud of the steps that we've taken. I feel like we've grown in a lot of ways, from execution to mentality and upholding the standards. So we got some more work to do to get ready for game one.
What was it like seeing Dash intercept one of your passes?
That one hurt a little bit for sure. I actually knew it right when it came off my hand. I knew it came off wrong, but he made a great play. I think his coverage skills are extremely underrated, and I think he had a great camp in its own right. So, as a brother, I'm super proud of him, super happy for him. But as a competitor, that one hurt.
Jason and Chris.
No, what can you tell us about your note-taking process?
So I always take pride in my preparation. That's something that I've taken pride in my entire life. Because of my dad. My dad's kind of made sure I stayed in the film room. And I remember being young, most kids are doing homework, he would make me sit down in front of a computer and watch film before I even knew what I was watching. So preparation for me, being undersized, has always been extremely important to me. And I did hear Coach Deggy kind of went through my process, but definitely I kind of have OCD in a sense. So color coordinating is super important to me, making sure everything looks nice. And then it's a way for me to remember things.
You have the iPad?
Oh, that's probably my girl, my fiance actually bought that for me, so that's probably the best purchase that I've had in a long time. It takes off a lot of steps and helps me in a lot of ways.
Chris and then David.
You talked about at the beginning of the season that the message for the team right now has been process over outcome. How have you seen that mindset be applied through fall camp? Yeah, that's just what we attacked. We attacked every single day as a process, and the Rose Bowl and these goals that we have rarely came up over the last month. It's really been about the day-to-day process. It's been about how good of a meeting can we have, how good of a lift can we have, intentionality and detail, something that's super important to us. Coach Brent is always challenging us to be extremely intentional, especially at a practice today where it's only 14 periods and there's not a lot of crossover work. How intentional can you be? How perfect can the reps be to get the work they need to get in?
David and then Justin.
No, you just led me to my question. You've used that term, the Rose Bowl, a number of times in the lead-up, and I'm curious why that is, because the Big 12 doesn't have a direct connection to the Rose Bowl anymore, and obviously that maybe meant something in the Pac-12 years, but why is that the lingo you're using?
For a couple reasons. First of all, being a Southern California kid, that's something that I've dreamt of my entire life. Grew up watching Pac-12 football, especially Pac-12 After Dark, and grew up kind of just watching that game, and we've been able to go to that stadium, go to that game a couple times. So I remember when I was being recruited, something that the last staff kind of preached to me was the fact that Arizona's never gone to a Rose Bowl before, and I made a vow that I would do everything I can to be the first team, to help the first team to go to the Rose Bowl. So this is kind of something that I've been talking about for 5 years, and then starting last year, Coach Brennan has brought in a Rose Bowl standard, and that's something that he's preached to us. So everything that we do, being late, being early to meetings, showing up to meals, eating your meals, everything that we do is a Rose Bowl standard. So that's something that we live by, and that's the goal.
Justin and Brian.
In your opinion, who has been the most improved receiver over the course of training camp?
Yeah, I talked a lot about our receiver room and how special that group is on and off the field. I would throw, I'm gonna throw Jet Smith and the two young bucks, Jet Smith and RJ Mosley. They had a tremendous camp in their own rights. I think RJ's one of the better 50-50 balls I've seen in my years here. The way he attacks the ball, his body control, and it seems like he always goes up and catches it. So he's extremely special. And then Jet, they're both professionals in their own right, but you talk about Jet and his competitive spirit and the plays that he's been able to make, being able to create separation, but also attacking the ball and making plays with the ball in his hands. So I'm super excited for those two and the growth that they've had, and I do expect them to help us a lot this year.
A lot of new defensive backs. What was it like going against those guys in practice, and what do you think about?
Yeah, we got guys. For anybody that was concerned about losing 5 DBs to the draft, we reloaded in that area. They gave us some problems this fall camp, and that's saying a lot because I think our receiver rooms, when you talk about depth, I think we could go up against anybody in the country. But Malcolm Hartzog, he's probably one of the better DBs I've played against in practice. So, and I think that's saying a lot considering the DBs we've had walk through this building. But you could go down the list. Obviously, Javion Coles is probably the best corner in the Big 12, and the IQ that Malk has, and then you add Boot. and Quinn Olson's got the better of me a couple times, so I'm super excited for that group to go silence the critics.
Ryan and Chris?
Yeah, yesterday or 2 days ago, Coach Dagey made it official that Sawyer would be your backup. And why do you think, what did he do in camp to kind of win that? And have you already talked with him about the importance of that role since you were in that?
I think he knows the importance of it because I've heard Coach Dagey say it a lot, but he was kind of in our shadow, me and B-Lock last year. He followed us everywhere. We talked the same lingo to him. Coming off the sideline, he was somebody that I trusted last year as well to kind of tell me what he saw. But just to speak about Saw as a person, I think he's one of the better people I've ever been around. His genuineness, how happy he is when other people have success, is contagious, and then it makes you want to cheer for him as well and root for him. So I think he had an incredible fall camp. He made some throws that even I looked at him and was like, I don't know if I would have made that decision, made that throw. So he fit some things into some tight windows. He's faster. He's probably the fastest quarterback in the room. So he has some underrated speed, but the kid's such a special person. He's such a special player, and I'm excited for him to continue fulfilling that role.
And was Coach Dagey trying to one-up you guys in practice today with some of his throws, showing you how to?
Yeah, I think he's trying to prove to himself he still got it, and he do.
Chris and then David?
Kind of talked a lot through spring camp and the offseason, like how nice it's going to be that you're back with Seth for another year, the first time that you've had some consistency at the coordinator position. But now that you're through fall camp, going through that, that install and all of that, just how nice has it been to have some consistency and build that chemistry, that relationship even more? Yes, sir, it's amazing. I don't think our relationship could grow much more. I think that guy's he means so much to me, and he's helped me in so many ways. So I'm so grateful to have him, not just in my life, but have him for another year as a coach. So he's continuing to just kind of inspire me, inspire this offense, and taking this offense to new limits. So being year 2 with him, the confidence at an all-time high. We're executing at a high level. I think today was one of the faster practices we've had from a tempo perspective, and that's something that he's been preaching. So the guys believe in him. We'll follow him to the ends of this earth, and I'm super proud. I'm super happy to be a part of Coach Dagey's offense again. You're saying new limits. Like, are there things that you guys have started to cook up, like now that you have that trust and you have that rapport, like, hey, we can explore this, we can explore that, things that maybe weren't possible a year ago? Yeah, I said for sure. And the scheme is the scheme. The scheme's gonna work. This is the best scheme I've ever been a part of. So the scheme just works. I think I've said a lot that if I just trust my rules and I play in the scheme, I'm always have answers. So there's kind of two sides to that, where you trust the scheme and you're just playing in it, but he has added some wrinkles and some things that we've tried out. But like I said, I think we're in a great spot in terms of the execution of the offense and also the personnel that we have.
Our last two will be David and Justin.
In terms of Gio Richardson, what makes him so good in the slot?
He's the definition of a slot receiver. And I could go on and on about Gio. First of all, as a person, he's probably one of the best people to be around because of his humor and how funny he is, how witty he is, and he reminds me of T-Mac in a sense where the moment's never too big for him, no matter what, no matter how hot the situation might be, what adversity you might be, and he's always level-headed, and you know that Gio's going to make a play every time you need one. So the type of person, the competitor he is amazing. But then you talk about the player. When I say he's a slot receiver, he has a feel to him, he has instincts and an IQ that allows him to create space and just kind of feel things that you necessarily wouldn't draw up on a playbook. And then he's fast. He's probably one of our faster receivers. And like I said, his competitive greatness is he's able to attack the ball in the air and make plays. So I'd fully expect Gio Richardson to be one of our guys. When we need a play, I'm gonna look to him. So super excited for him, and I think he's gonna turn the road upside down this year.
BYU's the second game, but what did you learn about that? And I don't know if we'll see you again before that game. What did you learn about that environment in Provo?
Yeah, we're not too worried about that. We're focused on NAU right now. That's kind of our main focus. It was good that we got a week extra to prepare for them. But I mean, you talk about that environment. It's gonna be a great environment. We know that, but we got business to handle in Tucson first.
We'll finish up with Justin.
What was it like seeing Arizona get you the billboard for your Heisman campaign?
Yeah, I actually didn't really see it. Everybody was kind of talking about it in the locker room, and I thought they're just kind of mocking and kind of making some fun. So I didn't see it till I got home. But I mean, it's an honor. It really is. I'm super grateful for it. I've kind of said a lot that Tucson's accepted me with open arms. So I'm super appreciative of the community. I'm super appreciative of everybody that made that possible. But the mission's still the mission. It's all about this team. It's all about
one game at a time, doing everything that we want to do as, with our team goals. So it's a blessing, but I'm more worried about a Rose Bowl and things that we're trying to accomplish with this team.
Last go around here at Arizona, last season opener. Just kind of, where's your mind at right now going into this week?
Yeah, enjoy every moment for sure. This is all I've ever prayed about. It's all I've ever dreamt of. I think God's given me more than I could have ever asked for. One last year in Arizona with Coach Deggy and with my little brother. I couldn't have imagined any other way. So definitely trying to enjoy it, but at the same time, there's a mission, there's a focus, there's a goal that we're trying to complete. So definitely head down, eyes up.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.